Hi, my name is Tanya and welcome to Utility Jane. Today I am cooking a beef and vegetable chili with rice, but my daughter does not really enjoy that meal, so I'm going to cook something extremely similar using same ingredients or most of the same ingredients, and it's going to be quick and easy, and we're going to have two different meals in a very short amount of time just by using prepped meat and vegetables that I keep on hand all the time to make my life much easier. Let's get started. As you can see, I have a pot of water on with rice in it. I think the key to cooking any kind of meal in a short amount of time is if you have pasta or rice, and that is to get it on and cooking. Get your veggies chopped, anything that needs chopping, anything you are putting into it, get it all out so it is there and you can get on with cooking. So that is all you're doing. You're not running around looking for different things. Okay, let's start with the ingredients. I am starting with a yellow and a red capsicum. I am chopping them up or dicing them up. Normally I would have, if I can get my hands on these when they are cheap, I chop them and have them in the freezer ready to go for exactly these kind of meals. So I'm just cutting things up, getting them straight into the pot. I've got some frozen corn, quick and easy. I've got some tomatoes, cherry tomatoes from last year's harvest, just sliced in half and frozen, and some celery that I have bought, chopped and bagged and put in the freezer. I've got a red onion, some crushed garlic just out of a jar, a bit of ginger out of a jar, some salt and some pepper. I've got some paprika and some seasoned salt, a little bit of sugar just to balance the flavor, and some Mexican spice, adding as much as you like depending on how spicy you like it. Once the pot is hot, there is a lot of moisture in those frozen vegetables. I am mixing the spices in amongst it and it will simmer a bit and then slowly cook off the juices. I've got a can of kidney beans, rinsed and drained. And I have my prepped beef chunks. This is meat that I pre-cook in my stovetop pressure cooker. Now I've just had a quick taste and I think it needs more of the Mexican spice. I'm going to add my kidney beans because I'm wanting those to sort of cook down a little bit to make the sauce. And then I can quickly get on with adding the prepped meat. I cook all different types of meat this way and it comes with its own stock, so that is so easy and so fast when you're doing it this way. Now I'll use this for these two meals and then I can bag this up and put it in my freezer, and I can then pull it out and cook a similar meal very quickly just with that frozen pack of pre-cooked meat. Now I'm going to add some passata, just a little bit, because there is a lot of that meat juice and plus the moisture coming off the frozen vegetables. Add some tomato paste just to thicken that up. Something you can go back after it is cooked through and heat it up and adjust the flavors. So we're just doing a basic adding of all the ingredients, getting that stirred through. My rice is just about done, so I'm going to keep an eye on the chili. I'm going to put the lid on. That's heated up well. Put the lid on. It's a cast iron pot, so it seals in that heat really well. I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to move it into the oven. I'm going to check the rice. Got my second pot on the stove and I'm going to start adding vegetables. I've got carrots, and some capsicum. This was at the end of my shopping week, and it was, I think, the last 4 carrots I had, which is why I did not put carrots in the other chili. I would normally put it in that, but wanted to put them in this one. This is going to be plain. It's not going to have any chili in it. I'm going to add some frozen corn and an onion. Get those in, add some olive oil. So this is just going to be quite more of a casserole. I've got pepper, I've got seasoned salt, I've got paprika, putting in everything except the Mexican chili flavor. Going to get those vegetables tossed. I've got some garlic I'm going to add, but no ginger. So if you've got a younger family who likes things a bit more on the plainer side, this is perfect. I'm going to add a side of mashed sweet potato to it, and this is something that most people will eat, and we certainly ate it after the chili was finished. It was eaten as well. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? You can have 2 very similar meals using very similar ingredients, but you can change it up by not having chili 3 nights running, but you could have chili and then a more casserole type meal and then go back to having chili. So I'm just getting all of the sweet potato peeled. Get them all rinsed and chopped up. I'm just going to cook those in a pot, which does not take very long. Keeping an eye on the other vegetables that are frying down. Just get those on. Get this fried up, and then I'm going to add the meat. I was actually talking with my mum the other day, and we were talking about how we both use prep. I cook for a family, she cooks just for herself, but she does things, in the same way. Instead of, having multiple people eating, she will cook up a large meal, a family-sized meal, and then put it into containers, single meals that she can grab out. It means that she is still cooking for herself while she is in her 80s, and she is eating good, healthy meals, not getting to the end of the day and going, really, I can't be bothered cooking, and settling for something that probably isn't as good for her. She is getting her meals out and eating those. So it does help if you prep, no matter what age group you are in. It helps to keep a more healthy diet, I think. Now with this leftover meat, I'm going to bag it up and get that in the freezer. Like I said, I can pull that out. I can make beef chunk lasagna. I can make a curry. I can make spaghetti. I mean, it's cooked meat. I can make a pie, a casserole, endless different types of things that I can make with this, but it is going to save me, 20 minutes of cooking when I can have all the veggies chopped and cooked in that same amount of time with the meat added in. 20 minutes off mealtime on a weeknight is something I love to do for myself. Not forgetting to label that up when you go to put it in the freezer. Now give that a stir. It's on and cooking. The meat is heating through. We've got the stock that's in that meat and all that good fat that's come off the meat. Get that simmering. And while that's happening, I love to just get stuck in and get my kitchen tidied. Otherwise, it looks like that after just prepping, let alone adding dishes and things after a meal. I like to get everything into the dishwasher, all my scraps into the compost bucket, and then when I go to dish up, things are feeling not so overwhelming. And then when everyone finishes eating, it's quick and easy to get the dishwasher on and maybe some bigger pots washed. The rice was taken off and I'm going to rinse it now because the last part of that cooking process just happened while it was sitting in the pot. Get it all rinsed and then it can sit there and drain. Lastly, I'm going to get some of my chard chopped up so that I can add it in. Anything I can grow to add in is always a bonus. Did a taste test and it needs a bit more salt. I've got the sweet potato bubbling away, and I add a bit of tomato paste. Depending on how runny you want your sauce, you could add more if you wanted it thicker. While this is all cooking, I am going to get started on a dessert. Another good reason to have your area all packed away in the dishwasher filled. So I'm going to make a quince pudding. I've spoke before about the quinces that we prep and have them frozen in bags. I'm just making up a basic sort of cake recipe, just using what I have. I had some coconut sugar and I've added some other basic sugar, just raw sugar, adding some flour. I don't really measure things that well. A bit of almond flour I have left over. Like I said, it was the end of the week. I was due to do shopping. I like to have a good clean out. We're going to add some cinnamon, keeping an eye on the pots that are cooking in the background. I'm going to get my little old mixer out and I'm going to get going on this. Get it all mixed together. Butter in, I've got the flowers, the egg, and just as I need it, I'm going to add some milk. Just getting that beaten up. This is gluten-free. I'm sure it would work exactly the same if it was a wheat flour, so it's just up to whatever you're using. If I don't have almond flour, sometimes I add oat flour. Just getting that. I do not want it too runny. I want it to sit on top. Have a taste to make sure it's sweet enough, but I'm going to add some more milk. Just so it's runny enough, but I don't want it too runny. Beat it until it comes that sort of, that goes more that opaque color. I don't know if you're mixing a cake and you watch the color change, you can tell when it's beaten enough. And then run the risk of flicking it everywhere. I've got my quince. And I'm just going to dump that all in there. There's a fair bit there, but we love quince. Normally I would add a bit of apple because it makes it go further, but not on this occasion. Maybe I just wanted all quince. Just spoon that mix on. It is rather fluffy. Don't leave any of the ingredients behind. My dog is sitting behind me snoring, so if you hear snoring, that is him. And then just flatten it out on top. Get a little bit of raw sugar sprinkled on top, which is always nice. It gives it a good crunch. And then we get that into the oven. Going to add the chard to the casserole. The sweet potato is cooked. I'm going to strain those off and get that mashed. It does not take much to mash a sweet potato once it's cooked. Get some salt and a little bit of butter and get that mixed up. You usually don't have to add any kind of milk to it because it is quite a runny vegetable when it's mashed. Now I've got the big pot out of the oven. It's been sitting in there. Now I've got the pudding in there. Just going to sit it aside because it is very hot. And I'm going to dish my daughter up something to eat, some mash, and some vegetable and meat. Let's call it casserole. And there it is with the slow cooked beef that was extremely fast to cook, if that makes sense. I'm going to dish up one lunchbox with this sweet potato and vegetable beef casserole and another with some rice and chili. Get the sweet potato into a container and into the fridge. This is leftovers. This is another couple of meals that can be in the fridge. So when you cook up, you may as well cook up plenty. These things all reheat so well. Now I'm going to finish dishing up this lunchbox. Get some chili beef in, lots of the sauce. So warming and hearty at any time of the year, really. The lids on those, and now I'm going to dish up my meal, which is some rice and some of the chili, and I love to have some Greek yogurt on top. And I'm just going to eat this while the pudding is cooking. I love chili. And now the pudding is out of the oven. I've made a plant-based cream to have with it. The quince on the bottom, so delicious. This is a family favorite. There's the cream. Add a nice dollop. If you get it made early, get it in the fridge and it sets really well. And that quince with the cinnamon cake on top is a really good flavor match. We enjoy it. So delicious. With the nice crunchy top, the cake is soft. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I appreciate your company. Have a great day and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.